You might say it's sick to sleep with my girlfriend's sister and mother, but I say it's divine justice. My life, the real one, ended with 3 words whispered in the dim light of our shared apartment hallway. Be my brother. I had given Elena 3 years of my life, every spare moment, every ounce of devotion. I'd helped her build her business from a half-baked idea into a thriving online boutique. I'd held her when her father died, celebrated her victories as if they were my own, and loved every single complicated, ambitious, beautiful piece of her. And in return, she betrayed me. Not with another man, but with a lie designed to erase me completely. Her ex, Trevor, the one she swore was ancient history, was coming back into town, and she wanted a reconciliation dinner, a chance to rekindle their old flame. My existence was an inconvenience, a loose thread in the carefully woven narrative she was spinning for him. My death wasn't a grand, tragic event. It was a quiet, soul-crushing assassination in the place I called home. Elena shoves the fake ID into my hands, hissing, "You're my brother David for the weekend. My ex can't know I'm living with someone." The metallic taste of betrayal floods my mouth as her perfectly manicured nails dig into my wrist. The idea is surprisingly well made, my face smiling back at me under a name that isn't mine. David, a ghost. That's what I am now. Elena, you can't be serious. I manage, my voice a hollow echo of the man I was 5 minutes ago. Oh, I'm perfectly serious, Marcus. Her eyes, the same eyes I'd get lost in every night, are cold, calculating. Trevor and I have a chance to make it work this time, a real chance. And I can't have him thinking I just moved on, that I'm shacked up with some random guy. Random guy? The words are a punch to the gut. I'm not some random guy, Elena. I'm your boyfriend. We live together. We've built a life here. A life we need to put on pause, she says, her tone sharp, final. It's just for the weekend. He'll be here tomorrow, we'll have dinner, he'll see that I'm still the same girl he fell in love with, and then he'll go back to New York, and we can figure things out. I catch my reflection in her hallway mirror. 3 years of devotion erased by one desperate lie. My jaw is tight, my eyes shadowed with a pain so deep it feels physical. The man in the mirror is a stranger, a prop in Elena's twisted play. I see the framed photos on the wall behind me, photos of us hiking, laughing at a concert, celebrating our anniversary just 2 months ago. They're all lies now, artifacts of a relationship she's willing to bury for a ghost from her past. The doorbell rings, a shrill, piercing sound that makes us both jump. For a terrifying second, I think it's him, a day early. Elena's face pales. "Who's that?" she whispers, her hand flying to her chest. I glance at my watch. "It's probably the delivery you ordered." She lets out a breath, her composure returning as quickly as it had vanished. "Right, of course." She smooths down her dress, a mask of calm settling over her features. "Just be David, okay? Practice it. Get used to it." She walks to the door, leaving me standing in the hallway with the fake ID clutched in my hand. The doorbell rings. Her ex, Trevor, arrives in 18 hours for their reconciliation dinner. 18 hours until I have to perform the role of a lifetime, the loving brother to the woman I love. The thought makes me sick. My phone buzzes in my pocket, a lifeline in the suffocating silence of the apartment. It's a text from her sister, Sophia, a woman I've never met but have heard countless stories about. The free-spirited artist, the black sheep of the family. The text reads, "Can't wait to finally meet Elena's mysterious roommate tonight. She's been so cagey about you. See you at 8 for drinks." A slow, cold fury begins to build in my chest. A fire that burns away the shock and the pain. Mysterious roommate. That's how Elena's been describing me to her own sister. Not her boyfriend, not the man she loves, but a roommate. I look at the fake ID again, at the smiling face of David. And then I look back at my own reflection in the mirror. The man staring back at me isn't a prop. He's a man who's been pushed too far, a man who's about to rewrite the entire play. I pocket Elena's emergency credit card from the small dish by the door, the one she insists we keep for apocalypse-level situations. This feels like one. I walk back to the bedroom, my movements deliberate, my mind clear for the first time since she uttered those 3 soul-crushing words. I pull out my overnight bag, the one I use for business trips, and start packing. A suit, a couple of casual outfits, my laptop. The essentials. Elena is in the living room, humming to herself as she arranges a bouquet of flowers, probably for Trevor's benefit. She doesn't even notice me until I'm standing by the door, bag in hand. "Where are you going?" she demands, her eyes narrowing. "To play your game," I reply, my voice even, devoid of the emotion that had been choking me just moments before. "But by my rules now." I don't wait for her response. I walk out the door, letting it click shut behind me, a definitive, satisfying sound. The cool night air hits my face, a welcome shock to my system. I take a deep breath, the city lights blurring around me. Freedom. I pull out my phone and book a suite at the Marriott downtown, the one with the panoramic city views. I use her credit card, a small, petty act of defiance that feels incredibly satisfying. Then, I text Sophia. "Change of plans. Meet me for drinks at 8. The lounge at the Marriott. Don't tell Elena." I add, as an afterthought, "It's time you met the real me." I arrive at the Marriott and check in. The suite even more impressive than the pictures online. Floor-to-ceiling windows, a king-sized bed, a marble bathroom. It's a world away from the suffocating apartment I just left. I order a whiskey from room service, the amber liquid burning a trail down my throat, a welcome fire. Sophia arrives at exactly 8, a whirlwind of color and energy. She's beautiful, with the same dark hair as Elena, but her eyes are warmer, her smile genuine. She looks around the suite, impressed. "Wow," she says, her eyes sparkling. "Elena wasn't kidding when she said you were mysterious, and apparently you have expensive taste." "Something like that," I say, gesturing for her to sit. "Drink?" "Always," she says, settling into one of the plush armchairs. "So, what's with the cloak and dagger routine? And why are you here instead of at the apartment?" I pour her a glass of wine, my hand steady. "Elena has a guest coming to stay for the weekend, an ex-boyfriend, and she's asked me to pretend to be her brother." Sophia chokes on her wine, her eyes wide with disbelief. "She what? You've got to be kidding me." "I wish I was." "But you're her boyfriend. You've been together for years." Apparently, that's an inconvenient truth at the moment. Sophia shakes her head, a look of dawning comprehension on her face. "So that's why she's been so weird about you. Trevor. It's always about Trevor." She leans forward, her expression serious. "Marcus, you need to know something. Elena's been telling everyone I'm just her gay roommate to keep her options open with Trevor." The words hang in the air between us, a new layer of betrayal that somehow manages to cut even deeper than the first. Gay roommate. That's how she's painted me to the world, a harmless, non-threatening accessory to her life. "She's been lying to everyone," Sophia continues, her voice soft with sympathy. "To me, to her friends, to you. She's so terrified of being alone, so desperate for Trevor's approval that she's willing to throw away everything and everyone that's real." I stare out at the city lights, the glittering expanse a reflection of the emptiness inside me. The whiskey in my hand feels heavy. The hotel keycard on the table beside me a symbol of my newfound and utterly lonely freedom. "What are you going to do?" Sophia asks, her voice barely a whisper. I take a long swallow of my whiskey, the fire spreading through my veins. I meet her eyes, a new resolve hardening within me. "I'm going to give her exactly what she wants," I say, my voice cold, precise. A performance she'll never forget. Midnight approaches, the city below a tapestry of light and shadow. The hotel keycard feels like freedom in my palm, a key to a new life, a new me. The old Marcus, the devoted, loving boyfriend, is gone. In his place is a man with nothing left to lose, and a burning desire for revenge. The next day I meet Sophia at her art studio, a sprawling, light-filled space in a converted warehouse district. The air smells of turpentine and linseed oil, a scent I find surprisingly comforting. Canvases in various stages of completion are propped against the walls, vibrant explosions of color and emotion. It's a world away from Elena's sterile, perfectly curated apartment. "I hope you don't mind," Sophia says, gesturing to the controlled chaos around us. "It's a bit of a mess." "I like it," I say, and I mean it. "It's real." She smiles, a genuine, unforced smile that reaches her eyes. "That's what I aim for." She's wearing paint-splattered overalls over a tank top, her hair tied back in a messy bun. She looks even more beautiful in her natural element, a raw, unpolished beauty that Elena, with all her meticulous grooming, could never achieve. We talk for hours, about her art, about my work, about our lives. I find myself opening up to her in a way I haven't with anyone in a long time, not even Elena. There's an easy intimacy between us, a sense of connection that feels both new and strangely familiar. She shows me her latest piece, a large, abstract canvas of swirling blues and greens. "It's about the ocean," she says, her voice soft, the calm on the surface and the storm underneath. "I know the feeling," I say, my eyes meeting hers. She reaches out, her paint-stained fingers gently tracing my jawline. Her touch is electric, a spark that ignites something deep inside me. The air crackles with unspoken tension, the scent of turpentine, and the raw, earthy smell of her skin, an intoxicating combination. I lean in, my heart pounding in my chest. She closes her eyes, her lips parting slightly, and then the studio door bursts open, flooding the space with harsh, unforgiving light. Elena stands in the doorway, her face a mask of fury. And beside her, looking confused and uncomfortable, is Trevor. "What the hell is going on here?" Elena shrieks, her voice echoing in the cavernous space. Sophia and I spring apart, but it's too late. The image is already seared into their minds. Me and Sophia, caught in a passionate embrace against her easel. "You're supposed to be at home," Elena yells, her eyes blazing. "I'm supposed to be your brother," I counter, my voice dangerously calm. "Brothers don't follow orders." Trevor, a tall, blandly handsome man in a designer suit, looks from me to Elena, a frown creasing his forehead. "This is insane," he mutters. "You told me he was gay." The words, a confirmation of Sophia's earlier revelation, are another twist of the knife. But instead of pain, I feel a strange sense of liberation. The truth is out, in all its messy, complicated glory. Elena's face drains of color. She opens her mouth to speak, but no words come out. She looks from me to Sophia, her eyes wide with a mixture of rage and panic. Her carefully constructed world is crumbling around her, and she has no one to blame but herself. The studio's bright fluorescents buzz overhead, a cold, clinical sound that seems to amplify the raw, unfiltered drama of the scene. The vibrant colors of Sophia's paintings mock the pale, washed-out reality of Elena's lies. She tries to explain, to salvage the situation, but her frantic words are lost in the humming silence. I look at Sophia, her face a mixture of defiance and concern. And in that moment, I know that I'm not just playing a game anymore. This isn't just about revenge. It's about finding something real, something true, in the wreckage of my old life. And maybe, just maybe, I've found it with her. Just when I think the scene can't get any more theatrical, the universe decides to up the ante. The studio door, still ajar from Elena's dramatic entrance, swings open further, and a woman who can only be their mother steps inside. She's the older, more polished version of her daughters, exuding an aura of wealth and authority. This must be Victoria. "Sophia, darling, I was in the neighborhood and thought I'd—" She trails off, her sharp eyes taking in the tableau before her. Elena, white-faced and trembling. Trevor, looking utterly bewildered. And me, standing far too close to her paint-splattered younger daughter. Victoria's gaze lands on me, and there's a flicker of recognition in her eyes. Not the confused, trying to place you look of a stranger, but something more specific, more knowing. She's seen me before. "Marcus?" she says, her voice smooth as silk, but with an undercurrent of steel. She recognizes me from Elena's social media, not as a brother, not as a gay roommate, but as the boyfriend Elena's been hiding from Trevor. I can see the pieces clicking into place behind her intelligent eyes. She's connecting the dots, and the picture she's forming is one of pure, unadulterated deception. Elena looks like she's about to faint. "Mother, what are you doing here?" "A better question, darling, is what are you doing?" Victoria's gaze sweeps over the scene again, her disapproval a palpable force. "And who, exactly, is this young man?" She looks pointedly at Trevor, then back at me. This is my moment, the turning point. I can retreat, apologize, try to smooth things over, or I can lean into the chaos, blow the whole thing wide open. I choose the latter. I don't retreat or apologize. Instead, I step forward, extending my hand to Victoria. "Marcus Vance," I say, my voice steady. "It's a pleasure to finally meet you, Victoria. Elena has told me so much about you. I feel a strange sense of clarity, a vision of the future flashing before my eyes. In 6 months, I'll be standing at an altar, the air thick with the scent of lilies and the promise of a new beginning, but the woman standing beside me won't be who Elena, in her wildest, most self-destructive nightmares, would ever expect." Victoria takes my hand, her grip surprisingly firm. Her eyes are still assessing me, but there's a hint of something else there now, something akin to respect. She appreciates a bold move. "Has she now?" Victoria says, her gaze flickering to Elena, who looks like a cornered animal. "Elena, perhaps you'd care to explain?" Trevor finally speaks, his voice tight with frustration. "You said he was your brother. Then you said he was gay. Now your mother seems to know him as your boyfriend. Which is it?" Elena stammers, her carefully constructed narrative unraveling thread by thread. It's complicated." "It's not, actually," I say, my voice cutting through her panicked excuses. "It's quite simple. I was her boyfriend, until she decided it was more convenient for me to be her brother for the weekend." The silence in the studio is deafening, broken only by the hum of the fluorescent lights. Trevor looks at Elena with a mixture of disgust and pity. He's not angry, he's just done. He sees her for what she is, a manipulator, a liar. I turn my attention back to Victoria, who is watching the scene unfold with a detached, almost clinical interest. She's not emotional. She's strategic. I can see where Elena gets her ruthlessness from. but Victoria wields it with a finesse that her daughter lacks. "Victoria," I say, my voice low, confidential. "This is obviously a bit of a mess. I was just about to get some coffee. Would you care to join me? I feel like you and I have a lot to talk about." I'm leaving Elena scrambling to control her imploding narrative, to deal with the fallout of her own lies. I'm taking control, shifting the power dynamic, and aligning myself with the one person who seems to have a grasp on the situation. Victoria looks at her distraught daughter, then back at me. A slow, calculated smile spreads across her face. "I'd like that very much, Marcus," she says, her voice a purr. "Lead the way." As we walk out of the studio, leaving Elena in the ruins of her own making, I feel a sense of triumph. This is more than just revenge now. This is a hostile takeover, and I'm just getting started. The family dinner is a masterpiece of passive aggression, a carefully orchestrated performance for Trevor's benefit. It's held at Victoria's palatial home, a modern glass and steel monstrosity that overlooks the city. The table is set with a precision that speaks of old money and deep-seated dysfunction. I arrive not as a guest, but as an invited conspirator. And I don't come alone. I arrive with Victoria on my arm, her diamond bracelet catching the candlelight as we make our grand entrance. We've spent the afternoon talking, a long, surprisingly candid conversation over coffee that has shifted into an alliance. Victoria, it turns out, is a pragmatist. She's not interested in her daughter's messy love life, but she is interested in power, in control, and she sees in me a worthy player. Elena's face, when she sees us together, is a study in horror. She's been trying to salvage things with Trevor, to spin some new, even more convoluted story to explain away the scene at the studio. But my arrival, with her mother as my ally, is a direct torpedo to her carefully constructed battleship of lies. Trevor is there, looking stiff and uncomfortable in a suit that's probably worth more than my car. He's the guest of honor, the prize pig at the center of this dysfunctional family fare. "Marcus," he says, his voice flat, "I wasn't expecting to see you here." "Victoria was kind enough to invite me," I say, my smile not quite reaching my eyes. "This is my daughter's boyfriend," Victoria announces to the table at large, her voice laced with a sweet, venomous poison aimed directly at Elena. "Was," I correct gently, my gaze locking with Elena's. Now I'm exploring other options in the family. Elena's face drains of color. "You can't be serious," she whispers, her voice trembling. "Oh, I'm perfectly serious," I say, my voice a low, intimate murmur that's somehow more threatening than a shout. The dinner is a slow-motion car crash, a beautiful, delicious disaster. Victoria and I steer the conversation, a seamless tag team of innuendo and thinly veiled barbs. We talk about loyalty, about honesty, about the importance of family. Every word is a jab at Elena, a reminder of her betrayal. Trevor, to his credit, seems to be catching on. He's not a fool, just a man who's been blinded by a carefully constructed fantasy. He watches the dynamic between me, Elena, and Victoria with a dawning awareness. He's starting to see the real Elena, the one who lies and manipulates and uses people to get what she wants. My phone buzzes in my pocket. It's a text from a number I don't recognize, but the message is clear. "Heard about the dinner disaster. Coffee tomorrow? I have things to tell you about Elena and Trevor. It's Jessica, by the way." Jessica, Elena's best friend, the maid of honor in her fantasy wedding to Trevor. Another piece of the puzzle falls into place. The women in Elena's life are tired of her games. They're ready to talk. I excuse myself from the table, a polite smile on my face. I walk to the window, the city lights a glittering carpet below. I text Jessica back. "I'd like that. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., the coffee shop on the corner of 5th and Main. I look back at the table. Elena is staring at her plate, her face a mask of misery. Victoria is talking to Trevor, her voice a low, seductive murmur. She's cutting her losses, moving on to the next potential son-in-law. Later that night, after I've left the dinner party and returned to my suite at the Marriott, I get an email from an anonymous account. It's a link to a private Pinterest board. The title is E and T Forever. I click on it, and my stomach churns. It's Elena's wedding Pinterest board, a meticulously curated collection of images for her fantasy wedding to Trevor. The dress, the flowers, the venue, it's all there, a testament to her delusional, unwavering ambition. But what really gets me is the groom's tuxedo. It's the exact same one I wore to my brother's wedding, a photo of which is on my Instagram. She's not just planning a wedding with Trevor, she's slotting him into the life we built together. She's replacing me, piece by piece. I close the laptop, the glowing screen a stark reminder of her betrayal. But I'm not angry anymore. I'm cold. I'm calculating. I'm a man with a plan. And thanks to Victoria and Jessica, I have all the ammunition I need. Elena's world is crumbling in real time. And I'm the one holding the detonator. The joint birthday party for Elena and Jessica is the perfect stage for the final act of my revenge. It's held at a chic downtown lounge, the kind of place Elena loves, all exposed brick and Edison bulbs. The room is filled with 50 of their closest friends, a sea of smiling faces, none of whom have any idea of the drama simmering just beneath the surface. I arrive with Jessica on my arm. We've been seeing each other for weeks, a whirlwind romance born out of shared betrayal and a surprising, undeniable chemistry. We've kept it quiet, letting the tension build, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal our hand. Tonight is that moment. Elena sees us walk in, and for a second, her mask slips. I see a flash of pure, unadulterated rage in her eyes before she plasters on a bright, brittle smile. She's with Trevor, of course. A strained, unhappy-looking couple clinging to the wreckage of their rekindled romance. The party is a blur of champagne and small talk. I can feel Elena's eyes on me all night, a burning, hateful glare. She's trying to pretend that she doesn't care, that she's happy with Trevor, but her jealousy is a palpable thing, a toxic cloud that surrounds her. Finally, the moment arrives. Jessica's father, a jovial, good-natured man, calls for everyone's attention. He gives a rambling, heartfelt speech about his daughter, about how proud he is of the woman she's become. And then he hands the microphone to me. I just want to say a few words about the birthday girl, I begin, my voice ringing out in the suddenly silent room. I look at Jessica, her eyes shining with a mixture of love and nervous anticipation. Jessica, you are the most incredible woman I have ever met. You are kind, you are funny, you are fiercely loyal. You have shown me what it means to be truly loved, to be truly seen, and I want to spend the rest of my life showing you the same. I get down on one knee, pulling the velvet box from my pocket. The room gasps, a collective intake of breath. I open the box, revealing the simple, elegant diamond ring I'd picked out with Sophia's help. Jessica, will you marry me? Tears stream down her face as she nods, speechless. Yes, she whispers, her voice thick with emotion. Yes, of course, yes. I slide the ring onto her finger, a perfect fit. The room erupts in applause, a wave of genuine, heartfelt joy. Everyone, that is, except for Elena. She stands frozen in the middle of the room, her face a grotesque mask of shock and rage. You used me, she screams, her voice a raw, animalistic sound that cuts through the celebratory chatter. I gave you 3 years. The room falls silent again. the joy turning to a stunned, uncomfortable silence. Everyone is staring at Elena, at her contorted face, at the pure, unadulterated venom in her eyes. I stand up, facing her, my voice calm, measured. "You gave me 3 years of lies," I reply, my words dropping like stones into the silence. "I gave you exactly what you deserved." "This isn't over," she threatens, her voice low, menacing. "Actually, it is," Jessica interjects, her voice clear and strong. She holds up her hand, the diamond on her finger catching the light, a beacon of our new reality. Elena's composure finally shatters. She turns to the crowd, her face streaked with tears, her voice rising to a hysterical pitch. "He dumped me for her anyway," she sobs, pointing a trembling finger at Trevor, who is trying to blend into the wallpaper. "Trevor dumped me for her." She's talking about me, about Trevor, about all the men she's tried to manipulate and control. Her words are a jumbled, incoherent mess of self-pity and rage. "Then my work here is done," I say, my voice soft, but with an edge of finality. Elena lets out a gut-wrenching sob. A sound of pure, unfiltered despair. She stumbles backward, bumping into a table laden with gifts. Her vintage Polaroid camera, the one she used to document our fake relationship, the one filled with 3 years of memories she was so willing to erase, crashes to the floor. The back springs open, scattering a flurry of white-bordered photos across the polished concrete. Images of us, happy and in love, a ghost of a life that no longer exists. Trevor, seeing his chance, slips out the back door with Elena's cousin, a woman he'd been flirting with all night. He's abandoning the sinking ship, leaving Elena alone with her shattered illusions and the new, inescapable reality. I've won. I've taken everything she valued, everything she thought she could control, and I've made it my own. The game is over, and she has lost. The fallout from the party is swift and brutal. Elena, unable to cope with the public humiliation, the loss of both me and Trevor, and the utter destruction of her carefully curated life, has a complete breakdown. Her unraveling is a dramatic, messy affair that culminates in her being committed to Pine Ridge Mental Health Facility. It's a quiet, private place for the wealthy to mend their broken minds, a place where she can't hurt anyone, least of all herself. I hear about it from Sophia, who calls me in a state of quiet, resigned sadness. "She's finally paying the price for all her lies," she says, her voice heavy. "I just wish it hadn't come to this." I feel a pang of something, not pity, but a distant, detached sorrow for the woman she used to be, the woman I once loved. But that woman is gone, replaced by a ghost of my own making. 6 months later, life has moved on. A relentless, unstoppable force. Jessica is pregnant, her belly a beautiful, swelling testament to our new life together. We are happy. A real, solid happiness built on a foundation of honesty and trust. It's a world away from the fragile, conditional love I had with Elena. Sophia's gallery opening is a huge success. The centerpiece of the show is a painting she calls The Alchemist. It's a portrait of my hands, strong and capable, turning the lead of my past into the gold of my future. It's a beautiful, powerful piece, a tribute to our strange, unexpected friendship. Victoria buys it for an obscene amount of money, a silent acknowledgement of the role I played in her daughter's downfall, and perhaps her eventual recovery. Victoria sends us monthly care packages, a strange assortment of expensive baby clothes, organic fruit, and self-help books. It's her way of staying connected, of showing her approval, of investing in the new, more stable branch of the family tree. I see in the local paper that Trevor's engagement to Elena's cousin is announced. A small, tasteful photo, a brief, bland announcement. They look happy, in a generic, uninspired way. I feel nothing. Elena's hospital room, I'm told, overlooks the church where Jessica and I were married. A small, intimate ceremony with just our closest friends and family. I don't know if she watches, if she sees the life she could have had, the happiness she threw away. I hope, for her sake, that she doesn't. I hope she finds some semblance of peace in the quiet, sterile confines of her new reality. Some revenge is a dish best served cold. But mine, I've come to realize, is a dish best served with wedding cake, with the laughter of a new wife, with the promise of a new life. It's not about destroying Elena, it's about building a better me. And in the end, that's the sweetest revenge of all.